Northallerton is a small town in North Yorkshire. There's a market in the main street every Wednesday and Saturday. Among the stalls there's one which sells biscuits. The stall holder is 17-year-old Tim Wilkinson. When he first left school, Tim worked for one of the other stall holders for a while, but now he has his own stall, a converted caravan. He sells biscuits at 3 different markets, 2 days a week here in Northallerton and 1 day in nearby Stokesley. On market days, Tim starts early.
Get up about 6:15, 6:30, load the car with biscuits, go to the yard, pick the caravan up.
For this part of his job, Tim needs the help of someone with a car. Usually, it's his brother who helps.
My brother takes me to 3 markets. You know, he's got to be back in Northampton for 8 o'clock to do his job, so we've just stayed at 3 markets. I would have much preferred to have gone out every day as soon as I started. First customers start coming about 8:30, 9 o'clock. I don't normally stop, you know, I carry on all the way through. Thank you. 50p, please.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks very much.
But what about the disadvantages?
It's got quite a few disadvantages. For instance, if you want something to eat, it's not wise to leave your stall. I can either go into the cafe for something to eat, something to drink. Dinner the same, you know, I can either run in there and bring something out, or I either do without, because I'm not really bothered.
And how much do these disadvantages matter?
But if you're your own boss, the disadvantages don't really matter. I'm quite happy to do without dinner.
Even on days when there's no market to go to, there's still plenty to do.
Weekdays, my mother and father have taken me to the cash and carry to buy the certain goods that we've run short of during the week. Two, 3, 6, 8, 2.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The cash and carry warehouse sells goods to registered traders at prices less than those the traders will charge. But of course, they only sell in fairly large quantities.
1, 2, 5, 48. 4, 5, 4, 21. Twice 4, 5, 181. 1, 2, 3, 14. 1, 2, 5, 3, 34.
£74.19, please. Fine, thank you. Bye.
As a market trader, Tim needs to be a handyman too.
I'm always, you know, tidying up, painting, keeping the van in reasonable condition. Nearly every week there's some painting needs doing to keep it clean.
If you're running your own business, there are always a great many small jobs which need doing. There's a lot more involved in running a biscuit stall than just selling biscuits. Tim, of course, can't afford to pay someone to do all the various small jobs, so he has to do them himself. And if to start with, Tim wasn't particularly good at this sort of thing, then he's had to learn fast and become good at it.
And driving lessons take a lot of my time up at the moment. As soon as I've passed my test, there won't be so many days when I'm not doing anything, because I'll be out of the markets. You know, other markets hoping me to do about 5 out of 7 days a week.
So remember, Timothy, have a look in your opening, making sure it's safe to reverse and turn. And don't forget, check your mirror before you stop.
Tim didn't suddenly start thinking of being a market trader when he was about to leave school. Markets have been a keen interest with him from a very early age. He did this schoolwork as a 6-year-old.
When I was about 6, I used to come down and watch the market set up, and when on my way to nursery school, Carrick's, the firm over the road, used to flash the lights and used to give me a, you know, kick out of it somehow, and since then I've been interested all the way through, and I've never wanted to change my mind on anything else.
The south of England now, about 15 miles from the coast near Uckfield in Sussex. In the heart of this countryside lives 20-year-old Jacqueline Claridge.
I live right out in the country, and it's 2.5 miles to the nearest bus stop, which is, the buses only run 3 times a week. We're 3 miles from the nearest train station.
Jackie lives in her parents' house on the farm where her father is manager. Jackie's bedroom is also her workroom. For the last year and a half, Jackie has been working at home as a self-employed dressmaker.
I make almost everything, certainly garments, duvets, valances, curtains. I'm working at the moment on a regular customer's skirt on an industrial machine, which means it'll do 4,000 stitches a minute, where a domestic machine will only do 1,500. And this machine cost me £115 18 months ago. It would now cost about £165 second hand. You have to have a flat machine. Another piece of machinery I have, which you don't have to have but is useful, is an overlocker. This cost me a few weeks ago £257, brand new. It does other jobs, but I only use it at the moment for overlocking. This is a dressmaking stand. I have 2, one's a large one, one's a small one. They're very useful for saving time in fittings. You can adjust the measurements to whatever measurements you want. They cost about £29 each, and you really should have 2, a large one, a small one. I'm making a dress at the moment, which is a party dress, to go to a party in.
Just like Tim, the biscuit seller, Jackie's interest in what she does started when she was very young.
I first started sewing when I was a little girl. I made my sister a night dress for her 11th birthday, and I just kept making clothes. Then when I was at school, I was good at it. So when I left school, I decided that's what I wanted to do. So I went to a factory and learnt how to make trousers. And then I lasted 6 months there, and I went to another factory and learnt to make coats. And then I went to another factory and learnt to make evening dresses, evening clothes, which are made of chiffon, so I could handle all the different weights of materials. These overalls are part of a regular job I have, repairing and mending them for the local chicken factory. They deliver them to me when they have a bag full, and I take them back to them when I've mended them when it's convenient. Won't be a minute.
For a short time, Jackie herself worked as a chicken packer in this factory. She worked here during the 6 months before she took the plunge into self-employment. It was a time when she needed to earn a lot of money to buy her dressmaking equipment. And although Jackie didn't much care for the work of packing chickens, the money was quite good. What's more, the factory provided transport to and from work.
Once a week I go downtown to go to the bank and go to the fabric shop. Then I'll go on to the printers to put an advertisement in the paper. Hello, I'd like to repeat my advertisement.
Was it in last week's?
Yes.
If you'd like to find your advert in there.
There it is.
And exactly the same?
No, I don't want pelmets in there.
Okay,
if
we'll
you could
cross that
just
word off.
cross pelmets out.
And how many weeks would you like it
4.
for? 4 weeks. That's £2.16, please. And that's your receipt.
I do like being self-employed. My time's my own. If I want to go out on Friday afternoon, I can go out on Friday afternoon. But I have to work on Sunday.
Once again in Yorkshire, this time a coal mining district. This is Castleford in West Yorkshire and 17-year-old Mark Armitage. Mark's keen interest and his very unusual hobby for the last 5 or 6 years has been taxidermy.
Well, this is a woodcock. It's one of the first birds I ever did. I did this when I was about 13-year-old. It's got marbles in for eyes. They're just ordinary glass marbles painted with ordinary paint, you know. And I didn't know how to do a specimen stood up then, so I just did it laying down like. This was killed by some dogs, and it's just drying out now. It's got pins in, holding it in position, its features and its face, you know. The squirrel, a man brought this down about 3 weeks ago. I think it was shot. I first got interested in taxidermy when I was about 11 years old. I've been doing it as an hobby, like, and then I've just picked it up from books, and I've been doing it about 5 years.
To be good at taxidermy, you need to study living animals. And when he left school, Mark had more than enough time on his hands to do this.
Well, when I left school, I went looking for a job as a bricklayer, or painter and decorator, or joiner, you know, something to do with building trade. But I had no luck. And I went on dole, and I went on dole about a year. And I got sick of being on dole. And then my mum and dad said to me, well, why don't you give it a go? You can't get a job, you've naught to lose, why don't you give it a go, taxidermy, and try and start up, you know, a little business, get it going.
Mark's mother is also self-employed as a ladies' hairdresser, and the family lives over the shop. In the backyard of the house next door, Mark and his dad have converted an outbuilding for Mark to use as a workshop. Animal specimens are kept in a deep freeze until Mark can find the time to work on them. He's got a freezer full of orders, enough work in fact to keep him busy for the next 6 months. Mark is now working on a fox's head, or mask. Mark has always been good with his hands, but this special skill he learned from books. The owl is more than a pet. This too is an animal to study. The skin has to be separated from the flesh and bone underneath, and then the skin has to be treated to prevent it rotting. This is done by soaking it in a formalin solution for about a week. The skull bone will be used as the framework of the completed mask, so first it must be thoroughly cleaned. It has to be boiled in water with hydrogen peroxide added. This softens all the unwanted flesh. Meanwhile, there are other things to do, things which Mark hopes will make his work more widely known, arranging for his prices to be displayed in suitable shops.
Morning. Morning. Do you mind putting one of these up in the window, please? You know, I'm doing taxidermy.
Yes, I don't see why not. Yes, I'll do that for you.
Thanks very much, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.
When you're running your own business, you need an office. Mark uses his mum's kitchen. Mark has to buy many of the items which he uses in his specimens. eyes, for example. And when the stock of eyes is running low, he has to send in orders for more. The supplier is in Germany, and Mark's orders go via a German friend who acts as interpreter. Mark often needs to go out, delivering finished specimens, for example.
Now then, Mark, what are you got to?
It's for Barry. It's for Gina.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Come in, Mark.
Yep.
Two nice little specimens then,
Yeah?
for Barry and Ginger.
Yeah, that's right.
How much are they?
12 each.
Two nice specimens, and I'll see the lads in and straighten up with you.
Yeah, okay. Okay then, Bernard, yep. Well, I didn't fancy going in a factory because you're stuck inside and it's same day in and day out, you know. I just didn't fancy a place like that.
Whatever the work, self-employed people have many problems in common, like coping with money matters.
The bookkeeping aspect of my business was in a right mess. I didn't know what to do, so a friend of mine told me to go to an accountant.
How do the others cope with money?
There's a lot of problems involving income tax and national insurance and things to do with people who are self-employed. I personally don't really understand them, but my father sees to all those sort of things.
Well, I pay tax every year. Well, I will do. You know, my accountant does all my books once a year.
Where have they been able to get help?
My father helped me by loaning me some money to buy my first amount of stock.
Mark's parents were also very helpful.
Well, they've given me advice on how to go about it, you know.
If I want something doing, I wouldn't be afraid to ask one of my friends to do it for me, because I know they would probably say yes.
And qualifications?
I don't think the schoolwork affects this job at all. You know, anybody can do this, I think. You've just got to be able to stand behind a counter and serve, which I don't think takes a lot of doing.
When I was at school, I was good at art, craft, metalwork, woodwork, maths and English, not, you know, so good at that.
How much money are they now making?
I don't seem to be making a lot at all, really, because I'm always having to buy things for the caravan, which I hope, you know, maybe in the 5 or 6 months' time we'll have everything for the caravan and we won't have to keep paying out money, but we're doing a little bit better than breaking even, but I'm not making a great deal of profit at all.
Well, it's better than being on dole.
And what about the future?
I don't think I'll be rich. I might top comfortable. I don't think I'll ever be rich. There's always too many things I want.
I think I can earn a living at it, you know, a good living.
I've had a big advantage being self-employed, like living at home, having so many friends. I don't think I've had very many disadvantages. It was difficult in the beginning, but it always is difficult for anyone who's just starting up a business.
I just enjoy it, you know. I'm doing something what I've always wanted to do and I'm happy. It's just my scene standing behind a stall serving, you know, goods. 25, please.
There we go.
Thank you. 50. Thank you.